Hello and welcome to Sam Not So Wise. My name is Sam. Today I've got a first for you on the channel. It is a tier ranking video. So this is a follow-up to a video I did last week where I talked about a new challenge that I have given myself, a kind of mad challenge really, which is reading all of the Sci-Fi Masterworks, the SF Masterworks books. This is going to take a long time. I've given myself 15 years until I'm 50 because there are almost 300 books in this series. So the plan is to kind of tier rank as I go, rank every 10 books that I read, and kind of maybe add them on top of each other. I'm not really sure because that could maybe get potentially insane with so many books on a tier ranking. But I'm just going to see, leave it up to chance, and hopefully it'll go well and I'll adjust if I need to. So today's job is to rank the 24 books that I have already read prior to starting this challenge. I'm going to tier rank those. And by the way, this list does include a few fantasy books because I am including the fantasy masterworks that the company does as well. There's a lot less of them, about 50, so it makes up about a sixth of the total of the 300-ish books that I'm going to be reading. But there are a few on there just in case you see a fantasy book and be like, what? Why is that on the SF Masterworks list? So before I start, I just want to tell you all, if you're new to the channel, that I'm crap at tech. If you're not new to the channel, then you know I keep things extremely simple. I'm not good at editing or anything like that. I just talk to my camera. So this could go wrong. And guess what? It already did go wrong because I recorded one and it just wasn't right. So hopefully this time it will work. This is the first time I've done this, so I apologize if anything goes wrong or looks crap when it comes out. Also, usually I kind of make some bullet points and talk from the bullet points and have breaks in between because I'm not good at talking for a long time without bumbling. So if I stumble and bumble, I say if. When I stumble and bumble, I'm not going to stop the recording. I'm just going to keep going. So keep that in mind. You have completely unfiltered Sam today. So let's get going with the tier list, shall we? As I've mumbled and bumbled too much already. All right. So first thing I'm going to do actually is change the look of these pictures. There we go. That's a bit better. So we will start with Philip K. Dick, A Scanner Darkly. I have actually done all this before, so I should be quicker. And by the way, I am going to speak quickly about the books because there are 24. So A Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick, my least favourite of the three Philip K. Dick books that I have read. All three are on this list, by the way, but it is still brilliant. I can see why some people absolutely adore it. I can see why people bounce off of it. Extremely depressing, self-biographical story about extreme drug addiction. Not an easy read and trippy because it's Philip K. Dick. What is wrong with me? Okay, so that goes in the A tier. It will probably end up near the bottom of the A tier, but A tier it does go. Next up is John Wyndham, The Day of the Triffids. Post-apocalyptic, so therefore already interesting to me. I love post-apocalyptic, but I also just love how this is kind of quite unique in that genre. We have killer plants, which is interesting, and most of the world have gone blind. The ones who are not blind are very few and kind of leading the blind, and it has a big British charm about it, which I absolutely love, as well as, you know, obviously end of the world stakes. So it has everything, a wonderful book, not an S tier, but a high A tier for sure. Next up, we have, oh, this list has changed since last time, that's interesting. We have A Fire Upon the Deep by Werner Vinge. This is going straight in the S tier. Absolutely brilliant book. One of my favourite sci-fi books of all time. Very unique aliens. Never seen aliens quite like them. And there are also just wonderful other sci-fi concepts in there. The zones of thought and AI stuff. And the story is genuinely like gripping and fascinating and interesting and almost reads like a fantasy book at times, so it just has everything. This is one of the best sci-fi books ever. I've not read the the sequel to it, but it is in the list, so I will get there eventually. And we're moving on to another S tier. We have Frank Herbert's Dune, obviously one of the best books of all time, one of the most famous sci-fi books of all time. I've read it twice. The first time I read it, I was like, this is good. And then the second time I was like, yeah, this has got a lot going for it. Really did set up a lot of what would become, you know, common within sci-fi, and just brilliant concepts, great characters, and a fascinating story. Not an easy read by any means, but brilliant story, and the films are excellent as well. That is an S tier book for sure. Okay, we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love me some absurdist humour. One of my favourite authors of all time is Terry Pratchett, so this was always going to be a winner. I do prefer Pratchett to Adams, but I just love how much he kind of took the piss out of the sci-fi genre. The humour isn't going to land for everyone. I know not everyone likes this kind of absurd British humour, but it lands for me. Obviously not really exploring anything too deep, but I really love it, and it is going in the A section. While I'm here, I have read the first 4 books of the Hitchhikers series, and 3 of them are in this list, so we might as well just get them going. Now, where are your books? Sorry about this. There we go, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. This will be my second favourite in the series, and is an A tier book for me still, but probably right at the end of the A tier. I just really love the setting in this, and the absurdity, again, it just is like lifted to another level. So that is a good one for me. And next we have Life, Universe and Everything. For me, the series did just get weaker with each book, and this one is a B tier book for me. Still good, but not reaching the heights of Hitchhikers and Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Wow, we're really getting a lot of the S tier books in quite early. Dan Simmons' Hyperion. Now, this is one of my all-time favourite books. I love the short storytelling of it. I love how everyone has a different favourite. And I just love the Shrike and the mystery and the horror around him. So scary. And this has just got everything. Wonderful writing as well. Just the idea, the uniqueness of this book really shines through, and will, you know, it's like a top 5 sci-fi book for me. So that is straight at the top of the S tier for sure. Next up, we have John Wyndham again with Midwich Cuckoos. This one is not as good for me as The Day of the Triffids, but still good. Great concept of aliens being born inside lots of humans, immaculate conception thing, and a lot of conversations about, you know, love, really. Whether these people feel love towards these children that aren't really theirs, but are born of them, and they're raised in the town, but are so completely different. And when they find out they're aliens, it's just like big questions around that. So it does have a lot going for it in such a short book. But it is a B tier book for me. And again, a lot of English charm, which isn't a bad thing. Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I think this is the only Bradbury on the list. Obviously, this is a fantasy one. Really trippy, weird book. Great prose, but for me, it wasn't one of the best. I was kind of getting bored in a way, and just kind of feeling like the direction of the story was all over the place. Maybe this is one that would be really good on a reread, but for me, it is a B tier book. Probably above the Douglas Adams here. So yeah, still good, but not kind of mind-blowing for me. And again, I understand why a lot of people love it. Philip K. Dick, Ubik. This is my favourite Philip K. Dick book from the 3 that I've read. Again, obviously trippy as hell, with the kind of time passing backwards and the psychic powers that were involved. I really enjoyed this, and a lot of humour with the kind of little epigraphs before each chapter. Really good book. This is going near the top of the A section. At the top for now. I told you something will go wrong. I'm going to have to try and chop that out. Hopefully it worked. So next up is Walter Miller's A Canticle for Leibowitz. Again, another post-apocalyptic, so immediate points for me. And I really love the uniqueness of this story, the way it's told, like different sections in time of an apocalypse and how kind of society is rebuilding in these different eras of a post-apocalypse. It wasn't my favorite story of all time, and this is one that kind of like grows in appreciation as time moves on. And I think it would be wonderful on a reread again. Obviously, I don't have time to do that, but this is an A-tier book for me. I'm going to slip it in here. I think that looks good to me. H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. So I've read two H.G. Wells. They're both on here. The other one will crop up next, actually. Good book, but not mind-blowing. A lot of interesting commentary, but I feel like it kind of lost its direction at times, if you know what I mean. So a good one, but nothing to write home about for me. I'll pop it there near the end of the B tier. The next H.G. Wells, The War of the Worlds. This is just a classic story, and I found it very interesting having watched one of the movies and enjoyed it and how different it is. It has a lot of that British charm again, and it seems to me it was like simultaneously slow-paced and quick-paced at the same time. I did enjoy it, but again, nothing to really like blow my socks off in any way. So it is a B tier book, which will stand at the top of the B tier for now. Richard Matheson, I Am Legend, another end of the world book. I loved this book. I thought I really enjoyed the survival aspect. I'm not really a zombie fan, and this is kind of a zombie-ish book. And this one just really gripped me the whole time. I was really interested, even when it was just him kind of surviving. And then the ending, oh my God, the ending is just so emotional and impactful, and like I will never forget the feeling I had at the end of this book. Excellent, top of A tier, brilliant book. Roadside Picnic by the Strugatsky brothers. That's the only Strugatsky brothers I have read, but there are more coming on this SF Masterworks list, and I enjoyed this book a lot. This is one of those books that has like wears sci-fi clothing to tell a political, to critique a political system. This was written by Russian people in the middle of the Soviet era, and they couldn't really just come out and talk about the Soviet Union in a negative way, so they had to do it through a sci-fi story. And that is the power of this story. It's not necessarily the sci-fi concept that is brilliant, although it is cool, like a cool concept of these aliens who basically use the Earth as a picnic spot and leave their crap around, which is amazing to us and really useful. But what we're really talking about is the people and the society. So that is, brilliant stuff. That is going somewhere high in the A tier for sure. Look forward to reading more from them. Mary Shelley and Frankenstein. Obviously, absolute classic book. I've got to say, when I was reading it, I enjoyed it for the most part, but there were definitely times where I was kind of frustrated at how whingy both of the main characters were. It was just a little bit too much for me, but I appreciate this book so much, and it did have so much to say, so much commentary, so many deep themes, and it's definitely an A-tier book. I'm actually going to be rereading this later in the year for university, so I'm hoping it will shoot even further up. But for now, it is going near the bottom of A-tier. Mad respect for that book. Robert Silverberg, Dying Inside, the only Silverberg I've read, plenty more to come on this list. All about a man in his kind of 40s, I believe, which immediately is good for me. Like, we don't get enough protagonists who are older later in their years, so I enjoyed that. And it's about a man who has telepathic abilities but is losing them. So it's all about identity, what makes you you. If the thing that made you you for so long is going away, then what is happening to your identity? So it has a lot to say. Brilliant, interesting stuff. Not absolutely mind-blowing, could have gone further for me in many ways. A good book, but at the moment, top of B tier. Could have slipped into A, but still really good, and it will stay in B tier for now. Okay, Name of the Wind. This is one of these weird ones where it's a 50th anniversary edition, where they just did sci-fi and fantasy, didn't specify. And this one isn't in any of the other editions, so it's interesting that this one is in the 50th anniversary editions. Read this in my book club and it was very split. This is a Marmite book for sure. You got those people who absolutely love it and the people that don't love it at all. Marmite, by the way, is a British food stuff. If you haven't tried it, go and try it and let me know if you love it or hate it. I personally love it. Now, which side of the Marmite did I land on with the book, The Name of the Wind? Unfortunately, C tier. I didn't like it. There were parts of it I liked. I did like his writing style. I liked kind of the first third of the book, but I really did not like Quoth. I don't like where he went, what he turned into. Probably my favourite parts were of the book were outside of the frame narrative. Back in the inn where it's now, not in the past that he's recalling. So yeah, this one didn't work for me. I understand why a lot of people love it. I don't hate it. I was just like, "Nyeh," and I'm not interested in reading on in the series. So next we have the final Philip K. Dick book, which is Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said. Another crazy, trippy book. This famous actor, stuff starts going weird and people start forgetting who he is. It's like he doesn't exist anymore, and all of the shenanigans that go on from there, and it's kind of really quite fast-paced and thrilling in a way, whilst being really trippy at the same time. I really enjoyed this one. Definitely better than A Scanner Darkly, but not quite the Ubik levels. I'm going to put it just below A Canticle for Leibowitz. Really looking forward to getting to more Dick. Next, we have William Gibson's Neuromancer. Now, I'm going to admit that when I read this, it was a difficult reading experience for me. I know that's the case for a lot of people, but I was maybe a little bit too stupid for this book. I did enjoy it a lot, and I thought it did so much. Like, I've not read anything like it, so that immediately gives it points, but I wasn't really getting attached to anything too much because I was too confused a lot of the time. For me, it is a B tier book. So still good, but nothing that I remember with immense fondness. I'm going to put it there, near the top of the B tier. Okay, Ursula K. Le Guin, The Left Hand of Darkness, the only sci-fi Le Guin I've read. I've read 4 of her Earthsea books, and I really love this author. This is an S tier book for me. I've read it twice, actually. And the second read really does make me appreciate it even more. I liked it before, it probably would have been an A tier, but the second time it really let me delve into the themes that she was exploring and kind of the subtlety of some of it. Some of the themes in there on the first read are overt, but I feel like the second time you read it, there's so much more that she's sneakily putting in there, along with some humour, which isn't very obvious when you read it the first time. So I've got big respect for this book and cannot wait to read more in the Hainish cycle. I'm tired, guys. This has been a crazy day. All right, we're at the last 2, so hopefully no more mistakes. We have Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds. So a lot more modern compared to a lot of these books. I've read all of the Revelation Space, like the 4 main ones. This is my favorite one of the bunch. I love the setup of the story of this kind of ancient civilization that we have found, and we're trying to discover what killed them off. I love that kind of story setup, and this does it brilliantly, all relating to stuff within the Fermi paradox, which is a concept in sci-fi that I cannot get enough of. So this was a thrilling read for me, and all of the books are good, but this is probably my favourite. Second favourite being the 4th book, Inhibitor Phase. So this is going in the A tier, near the top. Yeah, I'm going to put it second there. So finally, we have Robert Heinlein and Starship Troopers. So Heinlein really likes to put his philosophy in books, and this isn't really an exception, and I did find it a little bit too on the nose at times, very different to my expectations. I mean, I was told that it's not like the movie, but I actually read this first, and I was expecting a lot more kind of space battles and stuff, which it isn't really about that, which I appreciate in a way, but I enjoyed it, but it didn't really blow my socks off. This is a B tier for me. It's better than the Midwich Cuckoos for sure, better than the War of the Worlds, so somewhere near the top of B lives Starship Troopers. So that is it. I'm sorry about all the bungles I made, but this is the second time I made this video because I'm crap at tech, and this day has been a little bit mad, so excuse my tiredness and my bumbles, but if you've made it this far into the video, I thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join me in this journey. See how I get along with the rest of the challenge over the years. Every 10 bucks or so, I will add to this list, and we'll see just how much I love these SF Masterworks. As you can see, it skews quite positive. That's not really surprising because these are supposed to be some of the best books out there. So I'm excited. Talk to me in the comments. Tell me how this tier list is completely wrong or how you agree with it, or just anything else. I love having conversations. I reply to all of the comments, so I'd love to have a conversation with you there. So that is it for now, and I'll see you in another video soon. Goodbye.